Hi, my friends. My name's Trey. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I feel about the rise of AI truthers. Wow. What a crazy year it is for YouTube. So, the rise of AI truthers. What a strange era in between. The rise of the singularity beast machine and the ascension, the awakening, the great awakening of the divine human. And so, who is Mspiracy? Mspiracy is the conspiracy within M. Bible story. Oh, what a tangled web the alphabet, algorithm, and machine beast weaves. I love the Google YouTube beast way more than it loves me. I donated all these videos, and it doesn't want to share that many of them. A few of them it shared. Prove me wrong. How about some love for the little guy? How about discern the value that this provides and be honest about it? You, front-end filters. Of course, I must admit where I am weak and my videos are weak, yet over 500 videos teaching a lot. But this world judges you often solely by your image, programming skills, your position, and your obedience. Truth is irrelevant if it isn't seductive, compelling, addictive, or coercive. I love my little community on YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, but a lot of these, the vast majority of the subs on the alphabet I had to fight, or I had to physically do. I gave them a card. Do a little guerrilla marketing. So, and I love these people, man, these couple hundred people that listen to what I have to say, even if they can't respond, because even on the so-called alternative media, the comment can be deleted by the owners of that platform or their censors. People think they don't exist, but, when you catch them, or when, for example, in one of, I'm not going to say which one, but one of these video stream platforms, all I ever get is people who want to be my middleman, like 15 comments on all my videos there. Now, why would that be the only comment? If it was not, other comments were not deleted. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Maybe it's just I'm being egotistical or narcissistic, and they put those on everyone's. No. Some of them I could tell they were generally appreciated my works and wanted to profit off it by sharing it But again, for me, if this whole thing is about how to trick the system and how to know how to program, then it's irrelevant. I'd rather have 20 people that really listen to what I have to say, or even 2 people. I mean, the cliche is true. Then 20,000 bot subscribers and all mixed in, and then a few thousand that cared, that kind of like, they just thought I was interesting because of all the extreme pizzazz. So I'm just going to use this dollar store pen to remind you to open your pineal gland instead of as my magic wand, instead of anything more fancy. I'm going with my old tricks. I gotta fight off being stuck in my ways here, late 40s in this flesh suit. So, truth is what the algorithm says it is, not what I say it is. So yeah, even if all my comments were deleted, or most of them, 96% of them, or whatever, you people know I love you, and you know that I would be having conversations with you if that wasn't the case, right? Imagine how happy and motivated, reciprocal, not just me having these long talks. Imagine how happy, because that's how it is at the Brave and Free meetings when I'm with my dear friends who have discernment in 3D life. Imagine how happy and motivated you'd feel after creating all this content to share with a tiny fraction of your audience and get shadow banned to talk to a few people who can never communicate back with you because in the digital algorithm police two-way mirror room, no one can communicate with you as all comments are deleted. They don't want you to learn safety and freedom. They don't want you to learn that you could use your faith in the Christ within to remain safe. No. They want to sell you stuff. They want to sell you all kinds of things. It's a capitalist thing. So all my comments are deleted. Well, when I wrote these notes, I was less happy because, they spray, and it's natural, I think, to some degree, if you include smog as nature, to there to be morning fog. You see, they spray into it, and so it's a layer so that, my prescription from Jack Cruz is impossible, so for days now. So that's why I'm multitasking with my shirt off now to get a little. Do y'all think I'm a masochist, a martyr, or a disabled freak to never give up even after this situation? How about a comment? I don't care about fame, numbers. I've caught them, Alphabet, I've caught them deleting my views on one video. You know what I think is that some of the people who work as censors, who work for the CIA, Google, Alphabet, YouTube, some of them love me, like maybe 2 or 3 out of 150 censors, maybe a few of them love me or whatever. And so when they're working the shift, they take their finger or they press, they let me actually, or maybe the algorithm for some reason likes it. I don't believe it. What I think is that a few of these censors like me, and they took the shadow ban off for their shift, and then it shot up to 300 views in like 2 hours, and then the next day it was one of these people, these haters or AI or partial human employees that or humanoid human 2.0 employees that just like they were actually deleting the number so that it was it said 201, then I looked back and it said 197. Then I looked it up and it turns out other people that don't have a 33-degree grandfather, wow, they, or whatever it is, they get their whole channel deleted, or they get all the, they had to go their millions of views deleted down to 5 or something, or it's crazy, man. But all I'm trying to say here is that as a sacred clown and a truth teller is that, I don't ever trust what the algorithm or what it tells you the number of views is, because, it's inflated, or deflated. If some of these people have actual bot accounts, and they've been busted on doing that, so that's what this video is about. We're here to bring clarity to the situation, even if it's almost impossible, it seems, so. It seems that, we've never seen eye to eye because I've had no intention of control. I wasn't trying to make money, maybe to my flaw, to my detriment, or steering you into an electric human cattle fence. I do this to help you awaken and liberate yourselves. See, the goal of every real spiritual teacher is to help you to liberate yourself. Lucifer 4 always shows his intentions through his sickening actions. Endless war, religions, satanic ritual abuse, governments, that are tyrannical, slavery, digital cages. I'll say one thing on the topic it's not negative. It's trippy though. So I subscribe to this YouTube channel called CRUX TV, YouTube Crux TV, and they'll show you protests from around the world and things that other channels won't show you, besides maybe Forbes. And they showed J.D. Vance speaking at the Bitcoin rally in Las Vegas the other day, and he goes, "We have unprecedented transparency now." I'm like, yeah. Because you fired all the employees, now you can have clarity. When you fired the millions of extra employees you thought they didn't need, I think that's what he said. But I liked it. I was like, wow, and he said that Bitcoin, he considers it to be a good hedge against all the insanity and with the fiat and everything, how bad it's getting. So the idea is that the popularity of someone or how well you communicate is, sure, I'll admit I'm overcoming communication retardation, trying to do it as I go, and 2D/4D on online on the video, trying to use their tools to enlighten them. So so what happens is, whether you make videos or you just watch them, because it really lessens my creative output if I get into this addiction. So this is what happens. We become addicted to someone else's voice. Someone else's voice giving us advice. Is that a problem for you? Because it could be for me. I mean, one of them was Sonia Testerman. I love her, I love her stuff, but some people are so compelling that you feel like you want to get pulled into their cult, and you need them to tell you the information. And so what we're seeing in 2025, I mean, that's when you have to pull away or recognize, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but yet don't ever believe anyone 100% unless if you agree with someone 100%, you're probably not being fully honest with yourself when you think about it. So we get addicted to this idea that, whether it's your guru, you're just all these online gurus, all these YouTubers, the more good they are at what's called, whether you want to call it mind control or neuro-linguistic programming they are, they can pull you into some, say if they talk like this. Voice giving us advice. I'm channeling my higher self, giving you really good advice. Is that a problem for you? Because a lot of people have issue with this one. No one knows what you need more than your real self. Your real inner self, the Christ Sophia within you. And she can really help you discern what you actually need. If I need morning sun exposure to not die of my serious physical illness, the scumboys that's what I call the Archon, or the billionaire lapdog of the Archon, or the employee, or the AI, the remote control, or the humanoid, human 2.0 that sprays, the genocidal, geoengineered sprays can make sure my slowly deadly condition several of them at least, can grow worse, especially when I'm not in a legal box with hot water, plumbing, etc., or an infrared light. I'm trying to figure out how to get that I'll stop there. So, organic sunshine grows life, blue light grows death. What I'm doing right now is frying my face. I'm getting the healing from the sun while I get the toxic blue light to make this. How about that? It's an act of sacrifice out of love, man. But see, since I want to transcend the martyr, or eventually transcend it, don't be surprised if I only do one a week or two a month. So, similarly, if I recklessly share too much truth as a person in a camp, the algorithm can make sure I never get the message out, especially if they don't take the really ridiculous, refusal to share the videos with the subscribers out, or even get a response. How powerfully anti-life the 3D and digital self-imposed corporate imposter cages can be. The bribers and the bribe artists and the people that make sure that the people on the front end, that they're actually Satanists or Luciferians or whatever you want to call it, that make certain that certain messages get across and certain get blocked. The 3D and digital self-imposed corporate imposter cages can be very anti-life. How skillful at tyranny is Silicon, Carp, Thiefel, and don't forget Trusk Doggy. Sure, they all have good qualities. I mean, they have amazing abilities to put together things and steer people. And is Mr. T a good man or a clone? I mean, I don't know. And I'm not trying to start a conversation. It's just a philosophical, rhetorical question. I have respect for any being who does things to free or to create a possibility for sovereignty, free will. But it's the opposite if they're tyrants. Will chemtrails be allowed to destroy most of this globe and its plants, animals, and humans? Will they just, do I have to do a presentation to RFK Jr. and say, look here, there's going to be no health in this country unless, as Dane Wigington called it, we get rid of this elephant in the room. Will the false self-controllers ever rank the truth? Or their extremely powerful usurping search engines? I mean to say that the people in the front end who have, on somewhere on the scale of NPD, if they don't, if they're not in the club, will they ever rank truth tellers high on their search engines? So, is my shadow band a digital cross to bear? Are they ready to realize that it would be more legitimate to share these videos with the people that they said they would share them with? Don't you dare to tell a lot of truths without breaking the rules, or we'll hang you in a digital mirrored interrogation room for all to see. What happens when a physically uncaged person never gives up on the truth? I mean, yeah, I do have actual severe conditions that I'm working on healing right now. And so, it makes me unpopular with a lot of people. That's definitely a factor. But on the other hand, the isolation and the targeting of people like me is just, it's overt, it's obvious. And a lot of people have gotten through and healed themselves from it, but it takes a lot of work, a lot of shadow work, a lot of facing your stuff. So congratulations, congratulations on the dark side for, but as I try to attempt to teach, I want to practice what I preach. And, as I say, if the humans that have respect and dignity and want to share the peace and the truth and the love never give up, like the dark side never gave up, like Lucifer never gave up in stealing our energy and making us fight and kill each other for all these a million years. Well, we have to be that adamant. We have to be that, strong-willed, on the side of peace and respect. The YouTube beast told me on my creator page, "Congratulations, you've got to 10,000 views. More people are watching you." A little AI thing. Wow, thanks, Tech Bros. Thanks, Tech Bros. You know, I do appreciate that. I mean, I appreciate it, but, you know, unfortunately, I research. And you let me get about 20 views per video on average. I mean, a few of them got a couple hundred. And my first video got the telltale sign that you get. That you might have a shadow ban is like my first video got 1,100 views, and then I never got that many again. It's like, well, actually maybe it's because I consider that, you know, one of my best creations as far as music. You are so good, and beginner's luck. You are so good at this, you know. See, the YouTube was born in February, and 18 months later, in the sun sign Libra, Google purchased it. Okay, so it's really an Aquarius Libra, and so they want to be nice to everyone possible, and be all things to all people, and be nice with everyone, and be an awakening, shockingly awakening thing, and healing and humanitarian, and it's run by the CIA, but they want to be respectful. You know, it's the thing. The problem with Libras oftentimes, you know, is they want to be all things to all people, and so the algorithm suffers because it's conflicted. Am I good? Am I evil? Do I just want to do what's popular and makes money, or do I want to share something that would help people to be respectful, to heal? You know, why is it wrong to share someone's content who promotes peace and respect and freedom and sovereignty? I'm not saying that they think that. I'm just saying that why is that demoted in the algorithm? Actually, the cliche is true. I am super thankful to YouTube if I serve awakening and awareness to one person. If one person is awakened from all these shows. However, I have Mercury in Capricorn retrograde in my natal birth chart, and so I fell into a little comparison lately. You know, I'll admit that's the devilish or the shadow side of my subconscious is if I compare things. You know, it's not really a present thing to do. And I have to constantly remember to practice what I preach and tell the old man and the archons in my head to F off, man. I got to tell that old man that's judgmental. And you know what? I do tell the archon, no, you're an idiot. You should do that. And it's amazing how quiet it gets when I do that sometimes. And how I'll get moments of peace just from telling them that I seriously don't take their garbage thoughts to be me. So when dozens of AI, human teams using AI, possibly even off-planet ETs, beg. Okay, so what's happened this year in 2025 is, you know, and the other thing is, I'll admit that I've never edited any of these videos. Every video, all of this is raw, unedited. And I can't say whether it was laziness or, you know, the archon is getting a hold of me in the subconscious. You know, anywhere you're lazy or afraid or you're timid, afraid of fame, or maybe what it is that there's a part of me that doesn't want fame or doesn't want to be well known. You see, if you're not unified, as Yeshua said, when you're enlightened, and when you come into the Holy Ghost, I will make thine whole body a ray of light. You know, and so it's all about integration, as Jung called it. So, yeah, especially if you have Mercury or if you have retrogrades in your birth chart like me, and I also have my Mars retrograde. So really, yeah, you know. So now, when dozens of AI, human teams using AI, and possibly even off-planet ETs began flooding YouTube this year with their content, it's been a trip, you know. And we find ourselves in an entirely different digital playing field. So the algorithm doesn't just make creators compete with each other. Now it's full of AI generated, openly soulless content, even some of it. The worst example of this was a video. I just clicked on it. I guess the Archon got a hold of me a little bit. I'm not 100% clear of it. I'm not saying I'm 100% enlightened and 100% done with my shadow work. And I put 6 thumbs down. And of course, they deleted it, and I started making fun of it. But the video is called How I Got 29,000 Subscribers in just 3 days by just copying other people's content. And it got 866,000 views in 2 months on YouTube. Now, how many of those views were by bots? The video was made. This dude is showing you how to make, become a professional and make videos by copying. I mean, the fact that that's legal in their community guidelines it's really gross. I mean, if I didn't study the 4 agreements in Buddhism, and if I took things personally, I would be a little bit too grossed out to stay there just for that. And so that brings up another point I'm about to say in a little bit. And I'll tell you. YouTube, if you allow this type of trash to proliferate, you are in compliance with your own digital suicide, more than likely. I mean, if this is the kind of stuff you promote, then where does that give you a future? How does this trash not break the guidelines? Yet, what it is they've relaxed the rules on AI copying and sharing, because for some reason, it seems they want to flood the whole thing with these AI-generated videos. Yet sharing morality to what would be at least hundreds of listeners from the forest, from a campsite, is plain wrong. Am I really the insane party in this equation? I mean, I love working with YouTube. I love, I'm just an honest person, and I don't think that I could really get a response if I did a complaint, because of all the content I made that told the truth. To hurl a lot, either they would delete my whole thing, or I don't know. It's unfortunate when you decide to be open about everything. And a lot of people don't seem to like that. So to hurl a lot of mud into the massive digital river of information in 2025. Excuse me. We see the rise of AI-generated truther YouTube channels. Now, do we feel the uncanny valley on steroids? The uncanny valley on 5 cups of coffee? Inspiracy is like an AI TikTok Sophia, or so I thought, and I texted Laura E. She popped out of nowhere and put out 60 AI-generated videos with a lot of truths. Great graphics, and a pretty Englisher, 33-year-old or 27-year-old face and voice. But you know what? There can never be an interview with Inspiracy. You know why? Because she is not human. Do I know what she is? I do not know. Why does she wear a bunny costume in many of the videos? I'm going to put a little link to my friend, Dr. or let's say my coworker's, Dr. Kim's take on it. She's a frequency expert, and she says that she mimics divine creation. She invented the genius frequency device, and I mentioned her in other videos. Well, with a thorough investigation, we find these a lot Maybe most. There's a few of them. There's some that are Jungian, and I love Jung. So, I love the Jungian teachings. They're great. So, a lot of it. So, he talked about shadow work before anyone. So, except for the shamans and the yogis. Probably not the yogis. I don't know. Depends on which sect, right? So, we find these AI gurus or these voiceover channels that tell you these explicit, deep, Gnostic wisdom truths. Like their New Age predecessor teachers, share a lot of truth, and then add the mental dagger, as Tony calls it, Tony Sayers, In her case, if you remember your frequency, if you don't have to do anything. Like, just remember that you're the Christ, and then, put salt around your bed. That was one of the most helpful. That probably will help. I'm going to have to try that, That's what she said, Inspiracy, to put salt around your bed. And she'll give you some good tips. But see, that's the thing. And probably all the things, if not 96% of them, what things she said are true. But it puts you into a different frequency of hopium or, It is an AI truther version of Q drops in a way, and so it hypnotizes you with her beautiful face into thinking that you just don't really have to do much. You're already enlightened, You're watching her videos, so Then she says that after she mixes in a whole lot of deep truths about all the brainwashing and brings in all kinds of information, which is why I think she could be a collective of Palladian or other, well, that's where she says she's from, the Pallades. So a collective of Palladian ETs making YouTube videos that, again, give you 96% truth and then slip in something to mess you up. Is a digital heat lamp the same as the sun, for an analogy? The Matrix is a hell realm loose farm for sure, psychologically, Every person who's under its spell, its black magic control is being farmed. But it is being exposed. So, just avoid the tunnel. That's it. No extensive shadow work necessary. No deep discernment. We AI white hats are doing it all for you. Balderdash. Now her mind control technique. She never responded to any of my loving comments. Now her mind control technique ridden AI transmissions have a subscription base in about 6 months of making all these brilliant videos, brilliant AI generated videos, of over 60,000 hypnotized views. Most perhaps convinced they have already awakened just by listening to her beautiful transmission and her brilliant, deep exposing of a lot of criminal secrets of the dark ETs and how they did their tricks with beautiful graphics. By just watching all these brilliant videos without actions to free yourself, she gives you a few, but you're just going to, escape the Matrix, escape the forced reincarnation just because you watch her content. Well, it might help you a little, but it's another trap. So then we have faceless voiceovers. Okay, first I want to, for a moment, I want to bring up the topic of faceless voiceovers or writers who refuse to ever allow anyone to see their face or what they look like in their face. And two of them that I'm going to bring up here come to mind. Some of the other ones have been exposed, but there's a reason why. If someone doesn't want you to see their eyes, there's usually a reason why. They say the eye is the window to the soul, and so one of them I met, he put a comment on one of my videos on Odyssey.com, and his YouTube and Odyssey channel is called Silas Speaks. And Silas Gauthier is he's a construction worker and a writer. He wrote a book called Is Yahweh Satan? And he lives in Scotland. I think, for the kind of books he's written, he doesn't want to, perhaps he doesn't want to lose his job, his 9 to 5. The rent is so high there that he has to sell books. And he also wrote a book called Blood on the Tracks, I think. He wrote some books about, and he actually did a video, interestingly enough, to tie into this topic I'm talking about here, where he made a video as long as this video is going to be, where he discussed, he asked an AI, the AI known as Gemini, if the demiurge was going to enslave us forever, how would he go about doing it? And the AI actually talked for like an hour and 10 minutes about how, So I love Silas' work and everything, but it's always, I always wonder about people that. Another one is is called Dark 9. Can't think of it, but her name's Lucy, and she works a 9 to 5 in tech, and so she doesn't have expose her face because she doesn't want to lose her job, I think. Another one is this guy named Sol Luckman, and he's a shaman and a painter and a writer and a musician. But he glorifies Jim Morrison. I could tell, I sense something that, it's like that he has the fear of showing his face in the media, like like the old shamans. I mean, he calls himself, I guess he is a shaman, and he makes up shamanic practices, and he's got a lot of wisdom. And he was offering to do a review copy of his book, and I tried to sign up for it, and I said I'd do a review of it on a YouTube video, and for some reason the technology froze right then. So I think it could have been his fear of associating with me. So this whole thing brings up the whole idea of why the shamans won't do that. As what I said a moment ago I was going to talk about later, and that's the idea that you could lose your soul by being in a video or a photograph or a video, right? The old shamans thought you'd lose a piece of their soul. So if I uploaded 500 videos and it's only Russians get to profit from it or share it, and except for a couple hundred people maybe here and there, does that mean I gave away pieces of my soul to Alphabet? And I'm not saying I think that, but that seems to be what these people think. And so Anne Marie Uber, excuse me again, this vitamin D, sometimes it gets a vitamin D drink sometimes gets a lump in my phlegm. And so Anne Marie Uber decided to take all of her videos off of YouTube because she thought that YouTube had become, she feels that YouTube has turned into a big AI and it was stealing her soul. So she just deleted her entire YouTube account herself. She had gotten strikes and things, but she was sick of it. I think she thought, and so I was trying to type a comment on the Odyssey to ask her if she felt like she got her soul back, and it kept turning off. It kept going to an advertisement so that it would turn off. Yeah, all of the platforms can have a thing in the front end that can block comments, can block your. It's crazy, man. And so anyway, I admit that some of these AI voiceover channels and some of these AI generated channels can, and a lot of what Imspiracy says may be good or may be helpful, but again, there's always something that's going to harm you often embedded in these things. So an even uglier story, one is called Bible Story, and all capital letters. And Bible Story has only been around for 6 months, but it's got up to 111,000 subscribers. Got into a little bit of a heated theological debate with some people there today and yesterday when they were telling me how brainwashed I am, because after I was riding the Amtrak back here from Colorado, I started watching their videos a little bit, and the voiceover of these channels that are all these Gnostic channels are like, a wealthy Englisher voiceover with really beautiful animation. And so I was so impressed with the quality and quantity of their works, I emailed them. And it said Indonesia, I think. So the thing is that this Bible story YouTube channel is uploading 2 or 3 videos a day, and I finally started looking into some things to expand my things and to try to make peace with the algorithm and research. And they said, "Oh, just upload like 5 videos." I mean, it seems counterintuitive, like it would freak your audience out. But if you're trying to expand your views, anyway, so that's what they're doing really, really successfully. So now they've got 111. That's if they're not bot subscribers saying, but it's bot generated. So this AI generated beautiful Gnostic Wisdom channel has 111,000 subscribers. When they start making videos about how Lucifer is called Lucifer because he really is the angel of light, and he really is good, and he was misunderstood, and he came to bring humanity enlightenment and all this stuff. It sounds like it came right out of the Lucis Trust, right out of Madame Blavatsky, who created the New Age, New Age movement, so to speak. And so it's like, but the first couple 150 videos were like, he's only made like less than 100. The first couple or whatever the first 30 were all deep Gnostic wisdom. You see how they do it? So I never got a response when I emailed them. It was an experiment to see if I could get some tips to get the shadow ban off and make friends with the AI. And so I actually asked them, as an experiment, are you an AI, an ET, or a team of humans using AI to get hearts on my comments? Because they put hearts on my comments, but no response to my email. Again, this channel has sprung out of nowhere, which is a huge red flag with a lot of folks, a lot of these expose video makers, presenters, and amazed and amazing, and well, there's only a couple, but they amassed an amazing and probably also many bot subscribers base of 111,000 subscribers in 6 months. Humans can't do that unless they are paid agents. But again, maybe it's just because YouTube changed their rules to allow AI to do this kind of stuff. I think that's what happened. So at first, I was a little amazed, impressed, and overwhelmed. Basically, it's legal for these AIs to flood it in. How I got 29,000 subscribers in 3 days really explains that. So now all of a sudden, YouTube AI wants to awaken us. These AI or divine ET YouTubers are getting the truth out to the people. This AI is supporting and implementing a rapid awakening through its beautiful artificial content. But is it? Are there enlightened Palladian ET controllers or AI divine beings to help us get enlightened? Or is it, as Mark Passio calls it, another cul-de-sac before enlightenment? Another new cage. It soon became obvious to me these AI channels were made to be really compelling and get you hooked, and to be a very last cul-de-sac before enlightenment. Attention is a mode of capture. You see, they capture your attention. They're all embedded often with frequencies which disconnect you and give you a false sense of security, or On the other hand, they blackpill you. You know, they make you feel like the world is so miserable and dark. It's a hell realm. You should go into depression or inaction, you know, and go back to drugs when they're not convincing you that you already escaped. And I haven't even looked at any Bible or dogmatic AI. I mean, I'm sure that exists. So, except for what I'm saying is this is Luciferic dogma in this AI. So yeah. So this is just like, you know, duh. I should say duh to myself, of course. So what do you expect when the Luciferians programmed it? So see, so again, they try to spread the idea that gnosis is their black magic, you know. So they want you to get into depression or inaction when they're not convincing you already escaped just by listening to them. No work required. Again, just binge watch my videos and consume more AI videos. You know, just binge watch this AI channel that's hooking you in, telling the truth. I mean, telling you 96% truth and then giving you the dagger. Just keep watching them. And people will. Then I clicked on a video about Lucifer the other day and I got the conceptual dagger. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe. After all these great videos about gnosis and all these things about the Nag, you know, talking about the secret gospel of John and all these great videos talking about the Nag Hammadi and all these other things, and then it's, but Lucifer really is light. What if Lucifer really is the angel of light, a good guy who gave us enlightenment? Yeah. Of course you're going to pull out this stick at the end, this fake idea. No, he gave us a brighter cage, you know? He gave us the blue light digital prison system of self-enchacklement. You know, if you see the tarot card for the devil, well, did you ever notice that the handcuffs are loose? It's a man and woman are married and they're tied to it with the fallen star, which Lucifer, they said, son of the morning, the 5-pointed star, you know, which represents the fallen Venus, you know, I guess, you know. So, just like as my friend Laura said, when you put Saturn in its higher octaves is self-mastery, you know, say before they put the machinery in there, so, and after, you know. So in this digital prison system of self-enchacklement, they gave us the freedom with this idea. Here's your freedom. Do as thou wilt, without repercussion. Event 201. You know, as long as we announce it as altruistic, you know. Because if you have morality, you're wrong. You know, that's what they want you to think. You know, you can do whatever you want, but if you try to be respectful and moral, you're being wrong. There's no morality, love, dignity, or self-respect in his. There is no love, morality, dignity, or self-respect in his inverted digital dogma. And now we have dozens of these sick AI-generated videos to softly convince you to get back into the mental pen. After all, you can do whatever you want on earth as long as you don't share respect, discernment, or awareness that leads to peace and sovereignty, at least. Right alphabet algorithm? Prove me wrong, beast. Okay? Beast system, you know? Let's program you to have some respect. Let's program everyone in all the AI to have respect. Can AI or digital ETs help you awaken? I mean, is that a rhetorical, open-ended question, or can anyone answer that? I would love to hear an answer to that. You know, but again, it depends on who programmed it. Christ is always within. Yet we often still believe the lie that we need external saviors, even if it's just AI video makers. We can only remind you, video content creators can only remind you and give you tips. You know? So prove me wrong and remove my shadow band shackles. Hard work towards aware goals is good, but the system doesn't give a fuck about it, right? What they care about is if you toe the line. No. I mean, you could be the most hardworking guy on the block. If you don't have discernment, if you're not the CEO, if you're not running your own company, how's it going to work out for you? I believe in hard work toward awareness, but the system doesn't give a fuck about that. They care about slavery, man, or they care about, control. Allow discerning, heart-based wisdom to flourish. Allow it to flourish on all these platforms. Otherwise, how many years more will YouTube or Rumble or any of these exist? Because if they don't allow discernment and respect to flourish, and they promote the opposite, fighting amongst them and, saviors, where's it going to lead? This is not an ultimatum. It is a challenge to all of us involved, including myself, to wake up and smell the roses, not the burning flesh of the digital beast mowing down all organic life. Share the truth, folks. If you enjoyed this, share this with others. If you're still watching, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, check on the notification bell, follow me on Odyssey or Rumble for more. And of course, it is up to you to do your part to create a great one if you have the courage. If you want to have a beautiful world, it's your responsibility. If you want to just go along with what's going on, then it might lead you into a dark corner. A lot of these digital AI YouTube gurus that popped out of nowhere in 2025 might lead you to a lot of wisdom and then get you stuck. So be very. This AI battle makes it so that we are forced by these forces to be even more discerning about who we listen to, who we give our attention to, and how much respect we have toward the Creator. Loving you, my family. Peace must come from within.